In the quiet, shifting sands of Egypt's Valley of the Kings, history is usually considered a closed book. For centuries, we believed its stories were fully written, its secrets sealed away beneath layers of sand and time. The official narrative is one of magnificent isolation. We are told the pharaohs lived as gods among men, their civilization a self-contained universe, protected by vast, unforgiving deserts and a singular, powerful culture. Their world, we thought, ended at the water's edge. But in February 2026, during a routine structural scan of a forgotten antechamber near the grand tomb of Seti I, a discovery was made that threatened to tear a page from that book. On the monitors, something appeared that simply shouldn't have been there, a glitch in the accepted narrative. Beneath the formal sacred hieroglyphs of the 19th dynasty, archaeologists found a signature. It wasn't written in the familiar symbols of the Nile. It was carved in Tamil Brahmi, the ancient flowing script of southern India, a world away. At Wild Vibes, we've analyzed the early epigraphy reports, and the data is conclusive. This isn't just graffiti from a modern tourist or a misplaced artifact. The evidence points to something far more profound. The weathering of the stone, the crystallization of the mineral patina inside the incisions. Every microscopic detail suggests this inscription has been here for nearly 2,000 years, etched into the stone long after the tomb was sealed. It is a name, Sikai Kotran, a man likely from the Pandyan or Chola kingdoms of ancient India, somehow standing in the most sacred ground of the Egyptian Empire, leaving his mark for millennia. The questions are staggering. Why was he here? How did a traveler from the distant Indian subcontinent gain access to the private, heavily guarded tombs of the Egyptian elite, a place forbidden to all but the highest priests? This single name forces us to reopen the case file on the Monsoon Highway, the forgotten, erased history of a vibrant global connection that flourished while Europe was still in its infancy. A connection that rewrites the story not just of Egypt, but of the entire ancient world. To truly grasp the monumental gravity of this discovery, we must first journey back in time and understand the script itself. This is not just any ancient writing. It is a key that unlocks a forgotten world. Tamil Brahmi was the lifeblood of a vibrant civilization, the language of poets, merchants, and kings in the ancient Tamilakam, a region encompassing modern-day South India and Sri Lanka. It was the script that recorded epic poems and, as we now know, epic journeys. For decades, the accepted history was that India and Egypt only traded at a distance, their valuable goods passing through the hands of middlemen in Arabia. It was a safe, but incomplete picture. But the Sikai Kotran inscription doesn't just challenge this narrative, it shatters it. This inscription suggests a direct, intimate presence. It speaks of a man who was not just a transient merchant selling his wares, but perhaps a diplomat, an architect, or a high-ranking traveler who moved with confidence within the inner circles of Egyptian society. Someone important enough to leave his name in a place reserved for royalty. As we analyze the 4K scans, the sheer precision of the carving tells us something vital. This wasn't a crude piece of graffiti, hastily scratched into the stone. The hand that carved these letters was trained, steady, and deliberate. It reflects a level of cultural confidence and technical skill that fundamentally challenges our textbooks and forces us to reconsider the status of these ancient Tamil visitors. At Wild Vibes, we've cross-referenced this stunning find with recent discoveries in Berenike, a once thriving, now lost port on the Red Sea coast of Egypt. There, archaeologists unearthed jars containing an astonishing 15 pounds of black pepper, the black gold of India, still fragrant and perfectly preserved after 2 millennia. This was the treasure that fueled the entire trade network. But pepper is a commodity, a valuable but impersonal good. A name, carved with such care in a royal tomb, is a legacy. It transforms an anonymous economic exchange into a human story. What we are looking at is the first, undeniable evidence of a global elite. a network of influential individuals who operated across the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean long before the Roman Empire ever reached its zenith. This wasn't just trade, it was a meeting of civilizations. How did they do it? The journey from the ports of Muziris in Kerala to the shores of Egypt is over 3,000 miles of treacherous open water. A voyage that would take months, facing unpredictable storms, pirates, and the sheer crushing vastness of the sea. To the Greeks and Romans, who were masters of their relatively calm Mediterranean, the Indian Ocean was a terrifying, unknowable abyss. Their ships were built for coastal hopping, not for the immense power of a true ocean. But the Tamil sailors of ancient India possessed a secret, a profound understanding of their environment that gave them mastery over these waters. They knew of the Hippolytes, or what we now call the trade winds. They understood the physics of the monsoon. This wasn't just folklore, it was applied science. They knew that in the summer, the landmass of Asia heats up, creating a low-pressure system that pulls in moist, powerful winds from the ocean. These winds would blow them with terrifying speed toward the west. And in the winter, the pattern would reverse, the cooler continent pushing the winds back out to sea, carrying them safely home. This wasn't just sailing, it was planetary engineering. Armed with this knowledge, they built ships, catamaran, that were larger and more resilient than anything seen in the Mediterranean. These weren't just boats, they were floating fortresses, designed to flex and bend with the waves, not fight them. These vessels were capable of carrying hundreds of tons of cargo, precious teak wood, dazzling gemstones, fine muslin cloth so light it was called woven air, and even exotic animals destined for Roman arenas. When you look at the 4K footage of the Red Sea today, it's hard to imagine these waters teeming with Indian ships, their sails full, their holds overflowing with the riches of the East. But the data doesn't lie. At the ancient Egyptian port of Berenike, on the coast of the Red Sea, researchers found a startling piece of evidence: teak wood. This timber, a tree that only grows in the western Ghats of India and Myanmar, was used to repair Egyptian docks and even build local ships. The proof was literally carved into the landscape of a distant continent. The ancient world was connected by a hydraulic Silk Road, a maritime superhighway of goods and ideas. And for centuries, India was the engine that powered it all. Deep in the Egyptian desert, far from the lush banks of the Nile, lies Berenike. For centuries, it was a ghost town, but recent excavations have revealed a little India in the heart of Egypt. We found Tamil pottery, Indian beads, and even evidence of Indian religious practices. In 2026, the data indicates that Berenike wasn't just a port, it was a melting pot. The men who sailed the monsoon highway didn't just drop off goods and leave. They stayed. They built communities. They married into Egyptian families. When we look at the DNA evidence from the surrounding cemeteries, we see a genetic bridge. We see the markers of the South Asian haplogroups appearing in Roman-era Egyptian remains. This is the reality of the ancient world that the 18 to 54-year-old viewer needs to grasp. Our ancestors were far more mobile than we give them credit for. The Sekai Kotran signature in the Valley of the Kings is just the tip of the iceberg. It represents a lost class of transoceanic citizens who were as comfortable in the shadow of the pyramids as they were on the banks of the Kaveri River. The question that remains, the question we ask here at Wild Vibes, is why? Why did this history vanish? Why is the Tamil-Egyptian connection a mystery instead of a well-known fact in our schools? The answer lies in the erased archive. When the Roman Empire fully annexed Egypt, they sought to control the trade. They didn't want the world to know that India was the true source of their wealth. They rebranded the Indian trade as Roman commerce. Over centuries of conflict, the burning of libraries, and the rise of Eurocentric history, the contributions of the Eastern Titans were slowly scrubbed from the record. But stone doesn't lie. The signatures in the Valley of the Kings and the teak wood in the Red Sea docks are the glitches in the Roman narrative. They are the physical proof of a sophisticated, high-tech Indian maritime civilization that was dominant long before the West discovered the East. As the 4K cameras zoom in on these inscriptions, we are seeing the rebirth of an ancient truth. We are realizing that the forbidden history of India isn't just about India. It's about the foundation of the modern world. To understand how a name like Sikai Kotran ended up in a forbidden tomb, we must look to science. As we stand in the Valley of the Kings today, we realize that Sikai Kotran wasn't a ghost. He was a pioneer. His signature is a reminder that we are all part of a much older, much deeper story of exploration and ambition. But the Monsoon Highway wasn't just about land and sea. In our next investigation, we are looking at a different kind of signature. We are diving into the sonar logs of the Arabian Sea, where 2026 reports have identified structures beneath the waves that don't match any known human architecture. But the signature found in the tomb is only the beginning. If an Indian traveler was standing in the heart of Egypt 2,000 years ago, how far back does India's true power actually go? In our next investigation, we travel to the plains of Haryana to witness a groundbreaking discovery that has pushed the timeline of civilization back by 5,000 years. The 8,000-year-old secret of the Indus Valley is waiting to be revealed. You won't want to miss the next case file on Wild Vibes. Stay wild.